The Brooklyn Nets have recently been swept out of the playoffs by the Philadelphia 76ers. But the future looks bright as they've got a player who went from an excellent defender who was key to his team's finals run a couple years ago, and now he is a two-way star who could be on the rise to superstardom on a team who got a decision to make this upcoming offseason. Well, let's get to it.
Rose trying to get open, fires away. Bang! It's over! The Bulls win at the buzzer!
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Master Takes. This is the third episode, I believe. And in this episode today, I will be breaking down the Brooklyn Nets offseason plan. So before I get to this breakdown, if you are enjoying this series so far or you are new to this series, this is the third episode of Master Takes, where I give my takes about basketball. And yeah, so please take your time to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you guys think or anything you got in your mind right now. And I really appreciate them. It really means a lot. So please take your time on that. Anyways, let's get to the breakdown. So, like any NBA offseason breakdown, we will have to have a quick overview. So, here's an overview of the Brooklyn Nets. So, this offseason, they got a payroll of around $145 million, meaning they have zero cap space, $0. They are about $11 million above the cap space, so they have no cap space to spend. For free agents, Seth Curry, he is unrestricted free agent. Cameron Johnson, he's the restricted free agent. Yuta Watanabe, these are the notable free agents. So for trade exceptions, they got that around a rough estimate of $4.5 million of that Kyrie trade exception expired next year, February 5th. Markieff Morris, same day, but it's like a $1.8 million. The one for Walker Kessler, which is expired a day after February 5th, which is also next year, which is around $1.6 million. Then the $18 million trade exception from that Kevin Durant trade expired at February 8th next year. And also from the Kevin Durant trade, but it's TJ Warren with a $1.8 million trade exception also expiring the same day. So these are their trade exception they could use for leveraging trades. And then for the draft, they have a projected 21st pick, which is from the Phoenix Suns, and a projected 22nd pick in the first round that they own. What are their needs? Well, bigs, experience, and star power. These are the needs they need to have, I believe. Alright, so let's start with potential trades, which I think they should strongly consider making. So let's start off small. So for the first trade, I would like to propose here the Brooklyn Nets make a phone call to the San Antonio Spurs, and they trade Joe Harris, their 2026 second round pick, and 2023 second round pick for Doug McDermott and Zach Collins. Alright, so let me break this down real quick. So the Spurs get a cap filler to make this trade work. They get 2 second round picks, more picks to their rebuild, and in return, the Nets get a fill of their need, which a big man they can have off the bench right behind Nicholas Claxton. Zach Collins. He has have a little revival year this year. He is great defensively in the interior. He can shoot. He can shoot the ball, and kind of like a bit stretch the floor. So I really think that really helps the Nets right there off the bench. And then for that cap filler with the loss of Joe Harris, they get Doug McDermott back, who is as of great of a shooter as Joe Harris, so they don't lose much shooting from there. And Doug McDermott also expires the same year and is a bit cheaper. All right, so for the second trade, I believe they should do is a 3-team trade. Now let me explain why is this a 3-team trade. So first, they come knocking the door of the Orlando Magic with the target of Markelle Fultz. I believe that is the point guard they should target. Spencer Dinwiddie is great. He is a great point guard. Don't get me wrong. He can play point guard, shooting guard. He can create his own shots. He played with the team before, so he knows how to play in that team system, but the thing is, I don't think he fits well enough for them to contend going forward. So they get Markelle Fultz, who is great both on the ends of the floor, offense and defense, and I think shooting is still a bit of a problem, but he is slowly getting that back. So they trade Spencer Dinwiddie to the Magics, but the Magics don't want Spencer Dinwiddie. They have no need for him. So they call a third team, which is the New Orleans Pelicans. They send the New Orleans Pelicans Spencer Dinwiddie, which the Pelicans they would want because he's a guard who can either play with the starting lineup with CJ McCollum or as their sixth man, a valuable sixth man who can create his own shots, and I think it fits really well into their system. And so in return, the Pelicans help the Nets compensate for Markelle Fultz. So they send Jackson Hayes, Carol Lewis Jr., and then the Nets send this year's first round pick from the Phoenix Suns and David Duke Jr. So the Magic get players they actually are interested in developing, someone much younger than Dinwiddie, of course, and the Nets get Markelle Fultz, the man they would operate the point guard, the starting point guard spot. I think he would complement Mikal Bridges very well. So now let's go with the big trade, and that is the Brooklyn Nets trading with the Toronto Raptors for Pascal Siakam. And the trade is they send 3 first-round picks, the 2025 first-round pick owned by their own first-round. No, the Phoenix Suns, my bad. The Phoenix Suns 2025 first-round pick, their own 2028 first-round pick, and the 2027 first-round pick owned by from the 76ers. Now, they also send Ben Simmons, who is the cap filler. Now, you might come wonder, would the Raptors really do this? I mean, like, recently, Nick Nurse, he got fired. The Raptors are most likely, I'm not sure, are they heading towards rebuild? Because Nick Nurse said he doesn't want to be part of the Raptors rebuild, which is kind of a little sign showing that the Raptors might be going towards a rebuild, but I don't know. But either ways, the Raptors would get just 2 more years of Ben Simmons. They could try to hope take a chance on Ben Simmons. The Raptors got a really great development system in the NBA, and I really think they could somehow turn Ben Simmons around mentally, and maybe he'll become somewhat the player he once was with the 76ers. And they get 3 first-round picks to the rebuild if they are going to rebuild or they're retooling. But this would work. And then the Brooklyn Nets get Mikal Bridges, that star he would complement very well with. He is he adds experience, and he is very great on defense. He is averaging around let me pull that up real quick. He is right now averaging around 24.2 points a game on good efficiency. Now, of course, he's not a great shooter. that is not a problem because the Brooklyn Nets whole roster is surrounded by mostly shooters. So it would work well. So 48% on the field. Now, like I said, that shooting needs some uh work, 32%, but he is playing excellent defense, and yeah, he's kind of like a bounce back year this year. Although he should have made an all-star team last year as well. Now, let's go with the NBA draft. So, they trade that Phoenix pick, which is projected around 21, so they only have their 22 pick, the 22nd pick in the draft, which is their own. And with that pick, they should take G.G. Jackson. G.G. Jackson is a very raw player. Yes, he's raw prospect, but if he can reach his potentials well, he is a very versatile defender. A very young 6'9" power forward standing at 210 pounds. He is a project, like I said, in the Nets. They aren't immediately there from contention yet, so they can take a few more years to develop their guys. And with G.G. Jackson, I think by the time he will become a very versatile defender, a big man to be more precise. He has a high level of athleticism, so I really do think that he'll fit well into the team's rotation one day. And yeah, so a quick overview of takeaway of this after all these transactions. Of course, for resigning, they do resign. I do believe they should resign Seth Curry, Cameron Johnson, and bring back Yuta Watanabe. Like I said, this team is surrounded by shooters, and these three, they are no exception. They are great shooters. And with all that addition being said, they get a really nice balanced team, really deep in my opinion. So for starting point guard, they get Markelle Fultz. For shooting guard, I do believe Cam Thomas. They should give him a chance. I think he is ready for the moment. He is a guy I can see who could score 20 points a night efficiently one day. He is a very capable scorer you can trust. He has shown that recently after the KD and Kyrie trade. He exploded. And yeah, I think they should give him a chance for a small forward. They put in Mikal Bridges, their superstar potentially going forward. Pascal Siakam's at power forward, and for center, Nicholas Claxton. He is in a defensive player of the year candidate, though he did back down recently, but I think he will be a really great defensive player of the year candidate going forward. And for the bench, like I said, it's a very well-rounded, deep team. You got Seth Curry, Dorian Finney-Smith, you got Doug McDermott, then you got Patty Mills, Edmund Summers. I didn't expect him to be this great. Then they got Daron Sharp. He's a developing center. I really do think that he will develop well next year and be a capable backup center next to Nicholas Claxton, alongside with Zach Collins, who can play power forward as well. Yeah, so that is about it for this episode today. It's one of our shorter episodes, but I think I covered around what I think. So for the ceiling of this team, I don't think they contend right away, obviously. I do think this is like a building step for them going forward. And I think in a couple more years, Mikal will. Well, he is technically how old is he? He is right now currently 26-year-old, so he's about to enter his prime. So I think this is great. So by then, 2 years later, they'll be good enough to try to contend for the championship. Anyways, that is it for me today. This is episode 3 of Master Takes. And yeah, I enjoyed